comes a time in every learner's life that they realise that they don't have to put the clutch down when they brake. This happens to all learners, right? And the reason being is because when you first learn to drive, you're driving around in these little side roads and you're getting used to the clutch and finding out what it does and looking at pictures and listening to your driving instructor or your accompanying driver, and you're working this clutch, right? Now, if you're doing it properly, you're going to be moving off and stopping, moving off and stopping. You're going to be turning possibly in first gear so you can get used to steering and teaming up like a little jigsaw. You get your turn in, you get your speed in, and you're locking everything together and just piecing together this cool jigsaw to make the coolest picture in the world, right? But when you're driving around at these low speeds and you're doing everything, you're going to get into the habit of putting the clutch down and then braking, right? And then when you get better and better and better and you go up the staircase of learning and then you start to drive out and then you're suddenly having a go at third gear, or whatever, and you're driving faster, you need to then realise that you brake first and on its own for a certain period before you put your clutch down. Now, this is a really big shock to pretty much all students. I don't think I've ever had a student who goes, "Oh yeah, I knew that, Ros." Yeah, you can brake without the clutch if you're in gears over one. So 2 to 6, you can come off the gas first and then you can brake on its own for a certain amount of time. I always say to my students, you only need to put the clutch down when you're stopping or you're changing gear. And this is a massive revelation to people. So a lot of my lessons at the beginning, or just as we're learning all the basics, will come up to junctions and I'll be like, "Do you need to put the clutch down?" And we'll get the answer yes or no, right? So if we're driving down the road and we're in second and I ask them to take the next major to minor turning on the left, as in main road to side road, and it's very curvy and it's very normal and there's nothing weird about it, then they won't be putting the clutch down. "Do you need to put your clutch down?" "No, Ros, I don't, because I'm just going to brake a little bit to get to walking pace and I'm just going to go around the corner, brake on approach, get the speed that you want, and then no brake either as you go around the corner. If anything, a little bit of gas as you just finish the turn as you go up the new road, So it happens all the time that the student will put the clutch down, and that will inject speed into it, which you never wanted in the first place. We didn't want to stop and we didn't want to change gear. And now you've put your clutch down, you've got this injection of speed, which we just didn't want. So if it's clear, second gear, Now I appreciate that you may need to come down from a higher gear, but then it still is going to be speed by brake, speed by gear. If you were my student, that little rhyme would be in the car constantly. If I said to my students after a certain amount of lessons, speed by, I would totally expect them to say brake, and then I would say speed by, and they would go gear, because I say it all the time, and I'm getting them to remember the noise of it. Speed by brake, speed by gear. Everything in my car is rhythm, is rhyme, is almost like a song, because I say things so they just remember it. You can brake without the clutch if you're in gears 2 to 6, if you're just slowing down a little bit. If you need to stop, that's different. You're going to have to put the clutch down. If you need to change gear, of course, you need to put the clutch down, So let's just say you're coming up to a right turn, major to minor, main road to side road, Now, if it's clear second gear, let's just say you're driving up to that and you're already in second. Let's just say that. You've only really used first and second with your driving instructor and you've got up to second and you're feeling like a legend because you've gone up a gear, And you're driving down the road and your driving instructor or accompanying driver asks you to take the next road on the right. You've gone mirrors to the right, signal to the right, you're coming up, got that lovely position just left of centre line, and you know that there's no one coming towards you because you're being taught to give way to oncoming people. You look into the turn, there's no pedestrian crossing the road, there's no mess inside the road that's going to stop you from entering. So if it's clear, second gear. So you're working all that out with your MSPSL routine, mirror, signal, position, speed, look. That look part is like, oh, there's nothing here. If it's clear, second gear. So you would just bring that speed down on its own with the foot brake only because you're in the correct gear. Do you need to put the clutch down? No, Ros, I don't, because I'm just going to go around this corner with a little bit of brake first, then I'm going to come off the brake and just roll round. So all the braking is done on approach, mirror, signal, position, speed by brake. Look as you're braking. Can I go? Yes, I can. Off brake, gently just overrun round the corner. Overrun means don't press on the gas pedal or at all or very lightly, okay? Overrun, yeah. My students hear me say overrun from the very first lesson until the very end. Overrun just means come off the pressure of the accelerator or completely and just let the car drive itself round the corners. You only add the gas at the end. The slowest part of a bend is the beginning, the middle part of it is neutral, and the exit of the bend is probably the fastest because that's where you're going to add the speed to exit. So there comes a time in your life, right, as a learner, that you're not going to put the clutch down at the same time as the brake, right? So your foot routine should be off gas, on to brake if you're in gears 2 to 6, and clutch down. Question yourself, do I need to stop or change gear? No, I don't. Don't put the clutch down then. Do I need to stop or change gear for this turn? No, I don't. Okay, don't put the clutch down because you're going to get injection of speed. You're going to coast around the corner. Coasting means when you've got your clutch down and you're going around a corner. Coasting totally affects the steering system and it totally affects the braking system. So you're going to go flying round with a speed that you don't enjoy because your clutch is all the way down. When you're going to press the brake, it's not very efficient. Your steering's all wrong, so you're going really wide, yeah? Total loss of control. There's a coasting mark, yeah, there's a clutch mark on your form for your driving test, okay? Question yourself, do I need to stop or change gear? And if it's no, don't put the clutch down, okay? So if you're coming up to things and you're in a higher gear, so if you're driving towards like a major to minor turning on the left or a major to minor turning on the right, yes, you're going to need to put the clutch down, but the timing of it all needs to be very careful so you can get the speed down enough so when you actually take the turn from the main road to the side road, you can get off the brake and off the clutch in time. If you're struggling to be able to get all that in and you end up constantly going round the corner with the clutch down, it's because you're driving too fast. You didn't get that brake to do enough work. Did you erroneously put your clutch down first when you're changing from a high gear to a low gear? That's wrong, yeah? If you're driving along in a high gear and then you put your clutch down first, you're going to get that injection of speed. We do not want that. Off gas first, onto brake, clutch down, change to a lower gear and brake to the speed you want, which is often going to be walking pace, okay? And then off brake gently, off clutch gently, and go round the corner with the clutch at least on the biting point, if not off completely, depending on the turn, okay? The point of this video is to make the point that you don't always need to put the clutch down to brake. There comes a time in your learning, yeah, when you're getting into these higher gears, that you will have to face that because you need to get out of that. And it's everybody goes through this, yeah? I've taught literally thousands upon thousands and upon thousands of people how to drive. 22 years of people constantly with a full-time career. I've done this for so long, and it always happens that the students surprised that they don't need to put the clutch down when they brake at a certain point, and they have to learn to use the brake first. So the quickest bit of information that I can give you right now when you're next driving with your accompanying driver or driving instructor is say, do I need to stop and do I need to change gear? And if the answer is no, do not put the clutch down, and this will avoid coasting, yeah? You can just brake on its own a bit. I really hope that that makes sense, yeah? Because it is extremely important, all right? I've made so many videos about the clutch. I've made so many videos about the foot order. The video that I've just recently released about the foot order how to use your pedals, yeah? That goes into way more depth than this particular one. This video really is, do I need to stop? Do I need to change gear? That's the two questions, yeah, that I'm teaching you in this particular video. But if you want to see that, go to my how to use the pedals video, which I only just released, yeah, a couple of days ago or whatever. And it's very, very in depth, yeah. I'm using a video of my feet. Yeah, go to that video if you need extra help, yeah, to visually see what I'm trying to tell you here. But keep those two questions, all right? Do I need to stop? Do I need to change gear? No, don't put the clutch down. All right, guys, I shall see you on the next one.